Okay, everybody, get ready. It's Tuesday morning. It's 9:01, November 26th. You just got 2 days. You better get your turkey today if you don't already. As soon as I get out of here, I'm running over to Publix and buy two 15 or 16 pound free range fresh turkeys, not frozen. If I have to get frozen, butterball or equivalent, small ones, then I'll have to start defrosting them ASAP, because Wednesday night, which is tomorrow night, I have to brine them until the next day. So, it gets complicated. So, yeah, that's what we got to do. Going to add me to the mix here. I just saw this gold bar display, 999.9 silver. And it looks like a kilogram bar. It could be more, but let's just guess. It doesn't really say anything. It's 0.999.9. I'm sure that's the purity of the gold. He's got gloves on so he doesn't get his skin oil on the bar. And I just happened to look up. I went to the place where I buy and sell gold and silver. American Precious Metals Exchange, APMEX.com. It's really a very nice place. They're right in the middle of the country, location-wise. They have an app, so if you have an iPad or an iPhone or a Mac or probably anything, APMEX. You can just go there on your web browser. So if you have a Windows system, with your web browser, just go to apmex.com. Yeah. Let me try it. Where's the browser? There's a browser. This is live television, so be gentle with me. While I'm here. Can you believe they're still counting votes? Leading in 2 races, and Dems are leading in 1 race. So there's 3 seats to go in this quagmire. Everyone's at 98 or 99%, so they're so close. See the GOP up by 0.2%, up 0.1% with 98% counted. Oh, no. Democrats here up by 0.2%. Everything else has got a check mark. We're at the end of this. Hey. All right. So now I'm going to do AP. No, did I get it? MEX.com. Enter. So now we're going to, there we go, APMEX.com. And I'm going to press gold. I can sign in. Yeah, let's sign in. Why not? Oh boy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to sign in. Let's just do it that way. Does that work? No, it ain't working. Should be it. One more try. Yeah, it doesn't like it. Oh boy. All right. Back with that. You can go as a guest or you can log in. And I have this bar and I got all this stuff in the way. So, anyway, let's. Sorry. So I already went to the website, APMEX. By saying that I'm there, I'm not receiving any remuneration from American Precious Metals. I'm just saying that I like it. I've been a customer of theirs, and that's it. So here's gold, the price of the week. So it up to the week, and zoom, it's down to $26.40 an ounce. I mean, it was headed right for $3,000 an ounce. And ran out of gas. And there's a story behind that, which I'll tell tomorrow. Maybe. Something came up with the Bitcoin and this and that, and Bitcoin has gone right to the moon, right? If you bought it 5 years ago and you held it, you're like a hero, because you would have paid $200 for a Bitcoin, and now it's worth $100,000. That's a nice tale to tell, and a lot of people did that. I chose not to, because there's no asset. It's just a matter of supply and demand and something that people are buying and selling. When you buy and sell a stock, you actually have equity in the company. If you buy a whole bunch of it, you have a lot of equity in the company. And, management has to listen to you or whatever. If the company decides to not do their thing anymore, and you own 2% of the equity, you're going to get 2% of the net worth of the company. There's no net worth here. It's so as being in the banking business my whole life, I just can't imagine people, other than the fact that they hope it goes up. There's no there. And sooner or later, someone's going to wake up to that, and this, it could go down to, $100 a Bitcoin instead of 100,000. It was creeping up, to 999, 99,000, but then it went down 3% or 4%. Well, that took gold with it for some reason. I don't know why it would take gold with it, but it did. Anyway, that gold bar that you saw, which looked like a kilogram bar, I'm going to assume it's a kilogram bar, which is 1,000 grams. $85,000 for that bar. That's $84,903. You know, it went down $237 from the previous, I guess, day. $85,000. You see the graph? Now, the one thing nice about a gold bar is that it is an asset, and you're going to get something for it. And it ain't going to zero unless, an asteroid, fell into Earth, a solid gold asteroid. And the value of gold went down because the supply went up real fast. Or someone found a whole mountain of gold. Yeah, I'm making up crazy stories. But, it's hard to mine this stuff. And there are only a few places where mining is worthwhile. And it's like the blood diamond. You've got some really, people in the lower economic scale that are, dealing with this stuff. It's, crazy. So, I've been trying to get my family to buy as much gold as they can stand. Because if we go to APMEX, let's try that again. Hey, oh, wait a minute. We want the app. I'm getting there. You can see me live here. APMEX. I'm going to click the app because I'm logged in and it remembers me, I hope. Shop now. Open. There you go, gold coins. If you want to buy things, gold things, we want gold coins. There we go. This guy right here. You see the Indian head right there, 27.87. Now remember you saw the spot gold price of 26 something, and this is 27 something. So they market. There is a markup for the coin. This is a bullion coin. This is 0.9. See the 0.99999 pure gold. Gold buffalo. There's a buffalo on that side, and it's like the nickel. The 1930s nickel. But this is a gold coin. It's bigger. It's smaller than a silver dollar. It's about this size, but thicker than this thing. This is a rotary medallion. I don't have any gold coins. Let's dump this out. I can't dump that out. Oh well. It's smaller than a $50 and larger than a quarter, and a little bit thicker, about 3 millimeters thick. You'll when you handle it, which I've handled it, you'll notice the thickness is 1.5 times the thickness of a quarter. It's 2.98 millimeters. We can go here to specifications. We have to get 2.95 millimeters thick, and it's 32.7 millimeters in diameter. Remember, it's 25.4 millimeters per inch. So it's a little bigger than an inch in diameter. And it's, for all practical purposes, 3 millimeters thick. 1 troy ounce. There we go. Brilliant. See that up on the top there? Grade. Second from the item. It says Brilliant UNC. Brilliant Uncirculated. And this is a 2024 coin. I have a little heart there because this is something that if you can save 7% off the premium price. You can hit product details. See, it comes right off the architecture of the 1913 Buffalo nickel, right in the middle, the third item on this list. Yeah. It's nice, and it's, so it's, 20, if you're going to buy one of them, yep, cheapest price is $28.02 a coin. So that's, a bit over the spot gold price. When you buy the coin, you pay this 28, and when you sell it, you get the spot gold price for it. And there is a difference, and that way APMEX has a chance to, make a few bucks if you're trading it. I was trying to get our family to buy this when it was $1,800 an ounce. Now it's $2,800 an ounce. So it grew $1,000, in a year. Well, we can look at the graph. Go back, hit that one. There we go. Let's hit the year. You see that? So it went up $664 in the year. And the kilogram went up $400. But the per ounce went up $646. So, if you divide 646, into 1900, let's do that. We have a calculator here somewhere. Where's my calculator? There it is. 646 divided by 19, let's just say 1950. Gosh darn it. Divide, where's the divide? There it is. 1950 equals 33%. So gold went up 33% in value. No, it's, in 1 year. I mean, that's like stupendous. That's really, because gold is something, that it never goes to zero because it's gold. The pharaohs were cherishing gold, and you have gold jewelry. Now that's, like 14 karat gold. Well, 12 karat gold is 50% gold and 50% other metals to make it a little tougher so that your jewelry lasts longer, and the clasps don't open up and all that kind of stuff. So that's just to tell you, 24 karat gold is pure gold, which is, like if you bought one of those Buffalo gold coins for $1,800, that's 100% gold, aka also known as 24 karat gold, in the jewelry business. They would use gold bullion, like if you're a jeweler, and you'd be chipping off of that to make jewelry, and you'd mix, you basically rely on, manufacturers that create chains and all this kind of stuff. I mean, to really make jewelry out of gold bullion, that's fine. You can add silver and copper and all that and heat it up in a crucible if you have such a thing. And make jewelry, make rings and all this stuff. Or you can buy ring blanks. I mean, this is where's Jimmy? Hello. There we go. Here's a ring I have. And the top of the ring, I don't know if we can see it, is actually, it's a buffalo. You can barely see buffalo because it's almost worn off. It's a $2.50 gold piece. So this is like a quarter ounce instead of a full ounce of gold. And it's hammered all the way around the edge, which holds the coin in. You can see that ring is smooth all the way around there. And that's my wedding ring. Happens that Maryland is an Indian, so my wedding ring has a $2.50 Indian coin, in case I forget she's an Indian. Oneida Indian. We've gone to a lot of powwows in our lifetime, which are fun and exciting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why we got off talking about gold, but gold it's an investment. It's it goes up and it goes down, but the bias is, people trade it, banks trade it, the Federal Reserve has huge amounts of gold. One day our dollar could go back to the gold standard. Because our currency is kind of, it's kind of like, our currency is kind of like, oh my God, it's kind of like the Bitcoin. There's really nothing. There's all kinds of gold in the Federal Reserve, but it's not directly tied to our currency. It used to be, and I don't know, it was Nixon somewhere down in that period of time that we got off the gold standard. And the bills used to say you can trade this dollar bill for 1 ounce of silver, or whatever. They call them silver certificates. Well, the Fed has been collecting those silver certificates and grinding them up, taking them out of circulation. $166 billion to handle all the crime from all these bad guys that they let in the border. And I can't believe now they haven't shut the border. They know what Trump wants to shut the border, and they're just letting all these people in, to poison our society. There's some nice people, but there aren't some nice people. And they got a bunch of gotaways that are even more not nice. Migrant crime costs Americans over $166 billion. God darn. That's disgusting. Anyway, we'll go back to my pictorial, and there we are. That means it's 0.999. The other side, has some holes drilled in it to make sure that it's exactly a kilogram, 1,000 ounces. Yeah. This lady right here, Nicole Kidman, she is quite an actress. She plays a senior government official in a program called Lioness. You know, like lioness, like a female lion. Yeah. And there is a female person played by Zoe. You know Zoe. Salandra. Wonderful actress. And so you got two ladies that are controlling this, basically a kill team. I mean, that's what they were. Now they're working this latest episode. The latest episodes in season 2 are dealing with our southern border. You know, so there we go. Oops. I'm trying to get this. There we go. And that goes on top of the magnetic. There we go. I got a limited amount of space here, so I have to have, you know, things have to have a place. I got a new cup of tea. I showed you what that was yesterday. There it is, in living color. Ahmad, A-H-M-A-D, Ahmad Tea, London. It's an aromatic early tea. And if you open up the tin, it's a square tin, like 5 inches square and maybe 6 inches tall. It's a little taller than it is, you know, on the sides. Holds 500 grams. You know, you've been used to this. 500 grams. A gram is not the same as an ounce. But, you know, it's great tea. 2 scoops every day in my teapot, which is like an 18-ounce portion of hot tea. 17 ounce, let's say. And I add 3 ounces. I add a lot of cream to it. So that's my source of calcium because I'm drinking the hot tea with, you know, very pale colored tea, because I add a lot of half and half to it. About, you know, a couple of ounces, you know, let's say 2.5 ounces of half and half, which, you know, most people don't like that much cream in it. Marilyn just a spot of cream. Okay. Well, I want, 50 spots. Just give me 3 ounces. Yeah, you know, I have these little carafes, these little 3-ounce carafes. Fill that up. I'll put it all in there. Yeah, that's how much cream I like in my tea. And it tends to cool it off. You know, once you start believing in yourself, magic starts happening. There's a nice thought that Marilyn came up with a few days ago. She has these little things that she puts on her. There she is with Robin, our number. Yeah. watch over 4 kids. That's number 2 kid, Robin. Lee is number 1 boy. This is number 2 girl. Number 3 boy is Brennan, and number 4 boy is Daniel. And I happen to have a fresh picture of Daniel. Look at this kid. He stands over me about 6 or 7 or more inches. He's 6'4", and I'm 5'7". So he looks down on the top of my head. It's amazing how these kids, with the generations, we seem to be growing them taller these days. Trump's kid, is almost 7 feet tall. Now 6'4", that's 8 inches shorter than 7 feet. Well, Barron Trump is not 7 feet yet, but he's only 18, and they can probably squeeze another inch out of him, with growth. Maybe 2. So he's 6'8". He could be 6'10". That's just crazy tall. These kids are growing bigger and bigger. Whoops. Yeah. I was just sitting next to this little guy, and he turned away from me. Up there, he turned around looking at Marilyn. I need to work on these because she is jet black, and that's not jet black. Let's do a little to show you how to do it here. Number 1, you hit this auto mode just for the heck of it, and then come over here where it says black point and add that, and watch how her coat gets blacker. Yeah. And this is brilliance, and we'll go up and down on that. Yeah, see, that's how she looks right there. She is, I'll tell you, when the lights are out, all you see is 2 eyes, and that's the color of the eyes. Yeah, it's really amazing. So that's the magic of, and then we can do a little crop, a Rooney, and let's make it square. Yeah, so how about that? There we go. That's pretty good. Let's do that. There you go. Now we're done. We have just did a little photo edit, a little quickie. That's the way it was, and that's the way it is. Yeah. I did snap. If we look at the timestamp on this, this is 1:30 in the afternoon yesterday, and this is 1:31. That's 1 minute later. We just lift up on the image, and we see this is 1:33. I waited a couple of minutes, and this one's pretty good. Let's work on this one. I'll hit the auto mode. So we got to come over here, do the black point, and we'll leave contrast on, shadow detail. I'm looking at the chair that she normally, she takes a nap on that chair often. So I was going up and down with, there we go. Adjustment there. What's this? Brightness. Yeah. Color, I think we got the color right. Now we want to go over to crop. And we're going to here pick up the standard square. Yeah, let's go this way. Because we want to go in the direction that she's looking. That looks pretty good. There we go. And I put a heart on this one because I worked on it. Whenever I work on an image, and if it doesn't turn out, I'll trash it. But if I like it, I'll put a heart on it. And I think, yeah, all the lines are vertical. Memories. Yipper. You get this. These are actually black whiskers, but the sunlight is hitting them from the window, and it's lit them up. And I've turned the black point up all the way, so see, even here, that's not white hair. She does have 5 or 6 white hairs in the middle of her throat. If she lift her chin, we can't see them from this angle. Maybe, maybe there's a couple right there you can see. This is just the sunlight hitting her black fur, and I can't make that black. I would have to use another tool, a painting tool, to just blacken that all out, because that is not white hair on her shoulder. No. And that's not black. That's not white whiskers either. But we'll just leave them white whiskers for now. Because I don't want to erase them. And I'm not too sure how to. You see, it's just the sunlight hitting them. Got dust all over you. But that is sunlight hitting her fur. And it's making it look like it's white. See, she's all black. Yeah. There's a couple of hairs right here, which you can see. And that's all. Yep. She is black as the night. When the lights are out, all you see with her, she looks at you, you see 2 eyes looking at you. Don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. Well, her eyes are like yellow. Her iris. Yeah, it's a real bright yellow. Ukraine, Russia has fired a record of 188 drones overnight. Well, that's getting. They're getting all their fighting in before Trump gets in and starts to, bully them around a little bit. Because he would be the biggest bully in the neighborhood. And, when you have an arsenal like we had or used to have, you can bully some of these countries into not fighting with each other. Oh, let's see. I have a picture I just took. Where is it? Favorites. That's the gold. I took a picture. Should be all. Hasn't come through yet. There should be a category. Photos, come on. Where's photos? This wouldn't be a selfie. No. It's not a live photo. I usually turn that off. Yeah. How about portrait? It's not portrait mode either. I just took it. It's basically Marilyn's Christmas menu. She's really into this. I guess everybody is, into Thanksgiving and all that. It's not like I'm not into Thanksgiving. Let's see. It's got to be here. I took a picture this morning. Oh, here it is. Cancel. All right, let's airdrop it to myself. 12 and a half. Let's try this one right here. That should throw it in there. There it is. See, now I got in there twice. Once I wake up the phone, then the when I have 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 iOS devices. Just here, and I got 1 in the living room. So once you start whenever you take a picture, I have it set up so it'll show up on all the devices simultaneously. And if you edit, which I'm going to edit right now, let me take this right here, and I'm going to rotate it. There we go. And you can see my feet, which of course we don't want to see. And I want it freeform. And I'm going to come over here. Come on. Freeform. There we go. That way when I pull a side over, the other sides don't automatically start shrinking. There we go. I hope you're watching. So, I gotta rotate this a few more times. This is upside down. All right, no problem. There we go. So you can see there, I'm going to crop it, tighten up the crop a little more so that it shows bigger on our screen. Yeah. Now look at that. I'm going to be done. Hit done. There we go. Whoops. Why did that? Yeah, why did that become? Brighten that up. Yeah. Done. That's the weirdest thing. Yeah. We need to get that brighter. I will figure out why that is doing that, because it shouldn't just be brighter. Done. Yeah, well, here's the menu. We gather together, and the teasers, and pumpkin pie at the end, down at the bottom. Corn pudding, candied yams, scalloped potatoes. I'm team meat, so I handle the turkey. And I'm team gravy. She should have gravy on there. Because there's nothing like eating a little turkey with some gravy. Particularly white meat, because that's like eating cardboard without gravy. In my humble opinion. But look what she's got over here. You can see the seam right there. I laid this, what do you call it? One page on the other. So you can see, here's the shopping list. And you can see Red Wednesdays. I already have the brine. I ordered it from Amazon. I didn't want to take I just looked through Amazon and I found the perfect brining mixture of seasoning and salt. I studied the amount of salt in there, and I bought an extra bag, of kosher sea salt, coarse sea salt, which is fine because you're going to add it to the gallon of water with all the seasoning stuff. Because I got a seasoning kit with a super duper thick Ziploc bag, which you put the turkey in, and then you put that bag in the refrigerator with it sealed so it doesn't jump all over the place. But here's our shopping list: hard-boiled eggs, bacon, jalapeno peppers, baguette, cilantro, cream cheese, Mexican corn, all that stuff. Well, you need 2 turkeys. So when I finish this, I'm going to run out to Publix and get 2 turkeys. 2 free-range, fresh turkeys, which means they haven't been frozen. If I can't find that, then I'll just buy frozen ones and immediately start thawing it out. Because, that when you got 16 pounds of frozen turkey, that takes probably 18 hours to thaw out. And we have to start brining that at midnight Wednesday night. This is Tuesday. So we are right on the timeline that I need to be at. Today, tonight, or whatever, I have chicken broth. We don't have potatoes. We have butter. We don't have milk. So this is all the stuff. I mean, Marilyn is on the ball. We got our complete shopping list here. And when we get things over the next 2 days, we check them off. And anyway, so I'm going to send that to everybody. Because that's our shopping list. And that's our menu. Pretty cool. Marilyn has got this organized over a period of years. Sorry, Bob. She is on the ball. Anyway, so we can. That's. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send that to Marilyn, and I'm just gonna bingo send it so she can see that the menu and the shopping list is like combined into one page. And so she can look at the menu and see, we forgot, dang, so we're gonna write them in. I have a feeling she's gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. Is there flour on here? We have plenty. Yeah, there's nothing about the gravy. I'm team gravy. But, yeah. We've got like 4 pounds of flour in a cabinet that's sealed up in a Ziploc. I'll need a... Marilyn got what I just sent her. And now she can start to prepare an Instacart order. Yep. And if she signs in with my ID, then I can see the Instacart as she's adding stuff to it. And it doesn't have to be one Instacart, but whatever we get on Instacart, then we check it off or X it out, whatever. I'd rather put a little X mark. Cream corn. Yeah, a can of corn and a can of cream corn. Jiffy mix. We'll have to see if we have any of that. So, so you go through your cupboard and see what you got in the cupboard, and then you can, check it off. Like chicken broth, we have plenty of that, so I can check that off. I think I have enough onions. I think I got 4 onions. 4 little onions. They're not giant ones. They're small, which I would use for like tomato sauce. Pecans, I don't have any of that. We don't have pineapple juice. So you can see the whole list, because I did an expando, and you just go down the list. It's a lot easier if you pre-think out a list than just walking around aimlessly through the store. And she usually puts the items on the list in order of the rows when you walk up and down the aisles. Yeah, you'll find these things grouped together by the aisles. She hasn't demarked them, aisle 3 or mile 6. But once you start shopping, when you start going down this list, and if you're in the store, you'll find they're all in sequence to the actual aisles in the Publix shopping center. One of Trump's alleged attempted assassins sent me a letter. Really? Who the hell's me? Yes. So he was with a high-powered rifle sitting on the other side of this tree in the ficus hedge. Where there's, a little bit of a clearing where you could see people rolling around on the 6th fairway, on the 6th tee and the 6th fairway. That's where this sighting was. And the guy was hiding right in there. Which is insane, what the hell's going on with the Secret Service? It's a thick ficus hedge. It's like a wall. But, you can see, I had, my house in, for us, it was surrounded with a ficus hedge that was 14 feet tall and 3 inches thick. These ficus hedges are, they can be very dense. And they grow like frickin' weeds. And every month, I had to have my landscape guy, I had a guy who would trim things like this hedge. He'd, get his power trimmer and he'd trim this hedge, and I had it straight up and down and cut the top off, It's like a tall rectangle of solid ficus hedge. And if you trim it so it's like 3 foot thick, you can't see through it. And if you charge it, oh God, I had a party one time. 40 people invest. We invited them over. I catered it, even though it was at our own house, which is nice. So that way you've got like 4 caterer helpers. One of them owns the company, and 3 other people that she hired. I think it was a lady firm that did the catering. That's a little bit of a guess. I kind of forget. And, they made up the appetizers. We specified, what they'd be. One of the person was a bartender. We hired, part of the catering, we hired a bartender. She hired a bartender. I forget was a he or a she. And, one of the owners of the catering firm might have done the bartending. I forget which. And we had a bartender, and we had a couple of people running around with trays of hors d'oeuvres. It was really nice. It was a nice affair. Had some people from the company. At that point, I was, CEO and vice chairman of a bank. So I invited a couple employees. Marilyn invited a couple of her employees that she had at her bank. I did the same with my bank, separate banks, and neighbors. Anyways, it was a nice gathering. Some other people that we knew, that were kind of important people in the Boca Raton area, well-known people. I don't think there were any politicians there, but it was 40 or 50 people. And we had the kind of house that you could have a party like that. I mean, it was, large volumetric, big high ceilings that went up 23 foot ceilings. Yeah, in the main room. Makes for a nice party when the ceilings are real high. And it opened up, you open up the sliding glass doors into, a nice big pool area. And I had the tile, this Mexican tile was in this great room. And it would go out right into the patio in the same tile all the way around the pool. And the whole patio was this Mexican tile, which were 1 foot squares of Mexican tile that was probably an inch and a quarter, inch and a half thick. So, I mean, I had truckloads of these tiles. When we bought the place, the Mexican tiles were already in the living room area, the whole living room area, which was like, 20 by 30. So 600 square feet of this living room area with 23 foot ceilings and skylights and all that. So what I added is, I hired a fellow to put the same tile all over the patio and try to match up the tile with what we had. And it's the same Mexican tile pretty much. And put it all over the patio. I said, just go right over what's there. Don't bother chipping up what's there. So that tile went out all around the patio. You did a good job, of nosing that around the pool. I think you may have just ground the edge of the tile, so it at an angle, 45-degree angle, when you got to the end all the way around the pool. Yeah, something like that. Or maybe there was like a nose, where it would loop over the edge of the pool. I forget which we did. It's one of those things you kind of decide on the fly.
It's 10 o'clock.
But he had a saw, so when you get around the pool, you'd have to cut the tiles in here and there, and to get them all the way all over, and then we had a big high screen enclosure, so that the entire pool was enclosed in a screen that was probably 20 feet tall, so it wasn't a low screen, it was a high screen. And we had high ceilings in this great room, I don't know what else to call it, living room, because the dining room was off to the side, so it wasn't living room, dining room, it was just a big living area, which I loved. We had big screen TV in there, very high volume. Is nice way to build a house. Anyway, we had a hedge like this, which brought it to mind, all the way around the house, including the back. So when we had this party, no one could see in unless you really started sticking your head through the hedge. If you lived, because we had a neighbor behind, a neighbor over on the side. We hardly ever heard from him. But we had this party. It started at 6:30 or 7, and went on until like 3 in the morning. There was still people. Well, a couple of people that were out back, shooting baskets or whatever, because we had a basketball court in the back, and which butted up against this hedge. A hedge like this. It looked exactly the same. That is a Ficus benjamina. That's what that hedge is. If you don't trim it, it grows into a tree. A big tree. Yep. But if you trim it, it stays and looks like a hedge. Yep. Anyway, there's several former football players that decided that they could go down into a 3-point stance and hike, and they charged into the hedge to see if they could break through. And one of the guys was a former football player. It was one of our neighbors that lived down the way, the cul-de-sac. And I said, you know what, Mr. Zook? I said, you do not want to charge. You will not get through that hedge. I can assure you, because the trunk on the middle part of that hedge is probably 5 inches in diameter. You're not going to break that. It's a live ficus hedge that's, bigger than the diameter of a bat. You're going to break your shoulder before you're going to break that hedge. He said, oh, no, I'm going to charge right through. I said, Zook, you're not going to do it. Stop. I'm going to close out this party. You're going to have to go home. He had a couple of T-Many Martinis. He says, I can charge through that hedge. I said, you cannot. I promise you. It's not possible. And these stalks, that grew up were, maybe, a foot. Every foot you had a ficus plant when you planted it, and they were like 10-gallon plants, and they put them all around the house. It was required. It was an interesting neighborhood. You had to have ficus hedge around three sides of your house, all along the back, and like halfway up to halfway of your house. So it didn't have to go all the way to the street on each side, but it had to go halfway. And that was like a deed restriction. You had to have this hedge. So we had, in our neighborhood, we had, a lot of people that were doing hedge trimming, because there's a lot of ficus hedge. There was ficus hedge everywhere, and they specified it had to be a ficus hedge. So that way everyone had privacy. It was a requirement. Now, if I already had the hedge growing, you didn't have to have your own hedge. So maybe some neighbors would just have to put a hedge on a side or two sides if one of your neighbors already has the one in the back, so to speak. So I don't know. I know I had the back hedge, which I trimmed both sides, and it looked like it was on my property line. I think we determined that, and I think one of the sides was the neighbor, so she trimmed that hedge. I trimmed my side. We had a little conversation. I said, "Look, I'll have my people trim my side. You trim your side, and we'll cut the top so they all line up with all the other, intersections with the property." And I did the same thing with the neighbor, on the south side of the house. Our house faced west. So we had the north and the south side, and the east side was all across the back. Yeah. So I mean, so you had to make arrangements with your neighbors on the trimming of it, so that they would trim one side, we'd trim the other side, and so forth. I think the back hedge was ours, because when we got our house, there was no one behind us. It was it was a vacant lot. So we planted the hedge and we trimmed both sides of it. You can't just let the back of it untrimmed, because then the whole hedge would be out of balance. So since there was no neighbor, I would have to pay for the maintenance of both sides of that hedge. And they'd have to go on the other side and cut it and package up all the trimmings, and put it in their truck. They'd grind it up somewhere else, I guess. And it was, several $100. I forget how many, but it was like $300 a month to deal with the hedge. It doesn't count grass. We didn't have a lot of grass because we had rock beds. We had a big basketball court in the back, and driveways. So turn around, our garage opened to the back instead of opening to the front. So you'd have to come all the way around the back and park, which was nice because when we had our door open, you couldn't see inside the garage because the garage faced the back instead of the front. Anyway, so I thought of all that because I'm looking at the Trump golf course, and he had the whole golf course trimmed in ficus hedge, which is a dense hedge which you can't see through. But there was a little place behind this palm tree where someone broke off some branches so you could see through the hedge if you climbed behind that this palm tree trunk. And that's what he's looking in, because if you remember the assassin that was waiting right in that right where that guy's looking, that's probably an FBI guy. What the hell? The guy sat there for 12 hours waiting for Trump to play golf on Sunday morning or afternoon, and he was there since midnight, essentially the night before, according to the phone pinging records, because he had a cell phone with him. Jeez. And the Secret Service didn't pick up the fact that this guy was in the hedge for 12 hours with a high-powered rifle in the golf course that the president was was on the sixth. He was getting ready to come onto the sixth tee. And, they have Secret Service guys in golf carts, and they were riding down the sixth fairway. And one of these agents noticed the barrel of this guy's rifle and pulled and started and literally started shooting at the guy. Yeah, that guy's got a high-powered rifle. I'm gonna shoot him. Well, they apparently missed him, but he ran off because he was being shot at. And then there was somebody that actually witnessed this guy from this side of the hedge, and saw him running for his vehicle, and this person with their cell phone took a picture of the vehicle and the license plate, and they could see the guy in the photo. Snapped a few photos, maybe zoomed in to get the license tag. So that person then ran over to the Secret Service and says, I got photographs of who ran off with the rifle, and the vehicle, and Here's the tag. You talk about lucky. I mean, and they put a all points bulletin out there with the tag number, and the Secret Service had pictures to back up the fact that this was the bad guy, because he climbed in his vehicle. I forget what it was. I think some kind of a van and or a truck, and drove off. So 50 minutes later, they pulled him off the highway. So, he's driving in the car 50 minutes. So he thought he got away scot-free. Nope. Some very competent person was smart enough to take photographs of the vehicle and the person and the license tag. Wow. That person saved the day, because he might have tried to do this again. If he got away with it, he might try to do it again, in another location on that golf course or another golf course. He lived in like North Carolina or something or other, and he was down here for days on end planning this assassination attempt. God damn. So I'm worried. I guess this crap happens all the time, but I guess it doesn't happen on TV so much. But it's got to make you nervous as hell as a president. You can't even have he owns the goddamn golf course, and the Secret Service is supposed to be looking after him, and they're not doing their job. I don't know what else to say. They're not doing their job, because you can't have a guy hiding in a hedge for a whole day. And don't they have people that walk around the perimeter and have dogs? Even if the guy or girl wouldn't notice, who's necessarily in the hedge, you walk around the hedge with a dog. So if anybody or anything's in there, they'll start barking or biting. Now, there was a chain link fence embedded in this hedge. So you couldn't go straight through the hedge and get into the golf course without climbing over or cut through the chain link fence. So it was not only a ficus hedge, which is dense, there's a chain link fence. And the Secret Service agent on the other side of this hedge noticed the barrel of the rifle sticking through, which is getting ready to aim at the president when he gets on the sixth fairway. And he just finished putting on the fifth green. So we're talking about, 5 minutes later, the president would have been within, 100 feet of this rifle. And it's like impossible to miss your target when you're only 100 feet away with a rifle. Now, it may be a little difficult with a handgun, but not a rifle. It's like hard to miss. So, god damn. I mean, it just is terrible. And, the President of the United States is a unique person. Because he's the chief law enforcement person. He's like the chief of the chiefs of the police. He's the head law enforcement person. He's the head of the FBI, the CIA, every three letters of the alphabet, and he's the he's the person in charge of the armed services. He's the civilian head of all five divisions of our military. He's commander in chief. So he's in charge of the the whole security apparatus. He's in charge of the Pentagon. The SAC command bases. Even the part that might be subterranean. I mean, he's in charge of it all. When he shows up, he's the head military person. He's the commander-in-chief of all our armed services. It's a very unique. He's in charge of everything with the government. The United States, that's one person. And the vice president is next in line, in succession. If, heaven forbid, but if Trump all of a sudden fell over with a heart attack and dropped dead, I'm making this up, of course, then our vice president would step up into that position automatically. It's in the Constitution of the United States. Third in line would be the Speaker of the House. Fourth in line would be the President pro tem of the Senate. I think the fifth in line of succession would be, Secretary of State. I think so. And then you start going around the table in the cabinet. And it's a specific chain of, chain of command, so to speak. And you can go to your Constitution and see. And it counts down to 10 or 12 of them. Then you go down. After the Secretary of State, I don't know who's next. I know it's third in line is Speaker of the House, and then fourth in line is the similar person in the Senate. Well, you got the president, vice president, Speaker of the House. I think it's President pro tem Senate, which is kind of like Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Senate, but they have a slightly different name for it. And then you start going to the cabinet people, and then it goes to Secretary of State, and then and Secretary of Commerce, and Secretary of this, and Secretary. It goes right through the cabinet with a chain of command. Hopefully we never have to live through that. Not to mention, it would be terrible if we started losing some of these high-level people. Yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, so this guy, they're showing these people are all, so you have a Secret Service agent, probably, and then you got two suits. And I don't know who they are. But they're checking out. They still have the red tape on, because that's where the last assassination attempt was. So that used to be a place where people could, news people would go in there and take pictures, of dignitaries that were playing golf at that West Palm Beach golf facility, which I believe Trump owns. I think he does. I think it's the golf course that's associated with Mar-a-Lago. Trump threatens to impose sweeping new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China for specific reasons. And I haven't read the article, but you can go to the Associated Press and look this up. He's mentioned these things, Mexico, with regards to closing the border. And if you don't close your border and watch your north and southern border, we're going to put tariffs on everything that comes into the United States. Huge tariffs. So you better seal up your border. And that goes for Canada, too, because there are people climbing in those borders. And China has another reason why China's on the chopping block here with Trump threatening tariffs, some trade things. You look at the gold price, yeah. There's the hedge. There's our Thanksgiving menu, which Marilyn makes this stuff up, and distributes it to all of our family to try to induce them into coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. And then this is, the shopping list to make sure we have the appropriate ingredients. I guess we can get rid of that one. That was the same as that, uncropped. Okay. Iowa Senator, which is Joni Ernst, is pitching Elon Musk on a $1 trillion in federal spending cuts. And so she's going to suggest to Elon and the president ways to cut government spending, and they can relay that to the Trump team this weekend, which coming up. She'll need to convince everybody to go along with what she has to say about that. And I don't know what that is. All right, here's the gold thing. We did that. I told you about Nicole Kidman, and they're considering going back to Australia. Because that's where they came from. I think both of them. Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman. Yep. She's also starring in a very exciting, show called Lioness. Lioness, Lioness. They're in their second season, and we watched the first season like 3 episodes at a time because we didn't realize there was such a thing called Lioness. So when we started looking through it, the entire season was already telecast on Paramount Plus. So every Sunday morning or afternoon, we go to Paramount Plus and catch the next. So we watch 2 at a time. We watched last week's and this week's in one continuous setting because, it's complicated. So we watched the previous episode to kind of like get up to speed, and it just plays right into the next episode. But to remember it week to week, there's too much going on. So that's what we did this recent Sunday, a few days ago. We watched episode 6 and episode 5 together. And next week we'll watch episode 6 and 7, and so forth. So they're like 50 minutes apiece. So that's like 100 minutes. So that's like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes, something like that. In the big screen TV with the center channel all pegged up. It's really it's really a stunning program. If you're into espionage and, all that kind of stuff, this is it. I mean, I've never been so interested in watching a show. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. The D.C. cases are dismissed. So Trump is no longer under federal indictment because the judge and this prosecutor, who's a putz, I don't know how else to put it. He is bad news. And as soon as Trump is inaugurated, if he's not gone, he's going to be gone. And everyone in his office. He said he's clearing them out. Part of the deep state. And it was, it was Trumpism. They were trying to besmirch Trump in such a way as to have state indictments, federal indictments. He did this and he did, some people actually ran on it. The people in Georgia, actually, when they had their election to put their district attorney in, to seat the district attorney, he said, you vote for me and I will get Trump. That was the campaign speech. You can't say, give me the guy and I'll find what he did wrong. That's not how our justice system works. It's, if you do wrong, you will be found. The crime has to happen first. You don't watch the person and watch him and see what he did wrong. No. We always watch the do wrong part. And then if you do wrong, then they come after you. But they don't, the police aren't watching you to see what you do wrong. No. That's not the way our justice system works. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So we all run around as innocent people. And if you steal something from the store, then you've committed a crime, and then they'll come after you. They don't watch for you and just show up in your house and say, you stole this. And then you got to prove that you didn't steal it. No. That's not how this works. Well, that's what the justice system was doing under Biden. So, with the former, where is she? Bondi. Yeah. She was the Attorney General of, there she is, Pamela Bondi. She was the Attorney General for the state of Florida for 8 years. For a solid 8 years. That's, and it's the third largest state in the country, with like a population of 20 million, plus or minus 500,000. So, we're not some little state out west that's got 3 million people. This is a 20 million state. And all the law enforcement was under her tutelage, if you will. There's a cast of characters in Trump's incoming, all the women that are in the leadership positions. So if you think Trump is some, a guy that only has men in his entourage, you got Pamela Bondi for Attorney General. His chief of staff is Susie Wiles. It was like the first time the chief of staff was a lady. Well, guess what? This is who his chief of staff was. They called her something else, during the whole campaign thing. She'd be in charge of, everybody that would get in contact with the president, set his calendar, help him with, scheduling his rallies. Now she's going to be chief of staff in the White House. Carolyn Leavitt is the press secretary, and she served in a similar position, non-governmental, when Trump was running for office. And he's been running for office for 2 years. Well, Carolyn Levitt was the one giving the information and what's going on, interfacing with the press, which, the United States Press Corps is, 30 or 40 people. Stefanik, she's going to be UN ambassador. She's a House of Representative person out of New York State. Kristi Noem, press secretary. DHS secretary, Department of Housing and, Department of Health Services. DHS, sorry. Secretary of DHS. Tulsi Gabbard, National Director of National Intelligence. Surgeon General Jeanette Neshwat. She was a Fox News contributor, all during the pandemic and so forth, and the COVID-19. She was the one that Fox News used her to find out what the heck was going on with the virus and the injections that you could take to reduce the effects of the virus, and basically encouraged Trump to only shut down the government for 3 months, whereas the education people, kept things locked up for 2 years, which is crazy. And then you have the Secretary of Labor, the Secretary of Education, and the Secretary of Agriculture. All those positions are filled with prominent women, and you can see it right on the chart here. I'm not trying to be CBS News, but, Howard Lutnick, Secretary of Commerce. Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation. Matthew Whitaker. These are all people that are well known to us. U.S. Ambassador to NATO. I thought he would be, I thought they'd pick him for what Pam Bondi was picked for, which was Attorney General, because he was the acting Attorney General for the last portion of the Trump administration. And then there went through the Senate for confirmation. So he was the acting Attorney General instead of the full-fledged Attorney General. I mean, he sat in the desk and he did the job, but he didn't go through the Senate confirmation because it was probably, I don't know, it wasn't a Democratic Senate, so I'm not too sure. Or maybe the Senate did turn Democratic for the second half of the Trump administration. I think it did. Yeah. So that's why he didn't get confirmed, because they just popped him in there and he never got confirmed. Which, so I thought maybe they'd put him in this time. But they wanted, I don't know what they wanted, but Pam Bondi will be good, and she's tough. Nice looking lady, but she's tough. Just because you're a nice looking lady doesn't mean you're not tough. And they're soon to find out. The stupid International Space Station is leaking a whole bunch of, like 3 pounds of oxygen. They use the word pounds. It's leaking like 3 pounds of oxygen a day or something. I mean, it's pretty heavy leak. Here's a down drone. You can see the engine, the motor for the propeller. You see the propellers. And this is probably an explosive piece. And he's trying to disarm it, I guess. So that guy is sitting there, and he's unprotected, and he's cutting the appropriate wires so that this bomb piece doesn't go off. Yeah, that's why that picture's there. This is something about the full self-driving. They gave us a free month of that. That's a picture of some pieces that are on our, our big cocktail table in the living room. Robin gave us that bowl with the silver carved out piece that's attached to this bowl that's made out of a entire piece of wood that's been carved out. There's some of my pills. I leave them right there on the dining room table. When we have company, I take that stuff, take it off the table. There's the cat pictures we edited while we were on air here. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about before we go away. Yeah, so there's the women. There's the other cabinet picks. Men and women. It shows the whole lineup. So he's pretty much, I think he's filled, appointed all the positions. A third of them, or 40% of them have to get Senate confirmation, and 60% of this is Grandpa's recipe that he hand wrote on the front and back of this card. So I took pictures of the front and the back and incorporated them on the same image so that if something happens to that card, we've got a digital copy of that recipe, which is for candied yams. Yeah. Oops. So there's one side of the card, there's the other side of the card, and then there's both sides in one photo, which you could print on your printer and put in your recipe, in your cookbook. Trump picks the Project 25 co-author, Russell Boyd, who led the Office of, Management and Budget. He was the same person that was the OMB director on Trump 45. Now you got Trump 47. So he's going to have the same position in Trump 47. He's agreed to do it, and Trump's agreed to have him there. That's why that picture's there. All right, folks. I'd like to keep talking. There's Lee and Robin. Or number 1 and 2 kid. Yep. Lee was first. Robin was second. There's both of them. He's visiting Robin at her house. And that's a selfie. Okay. There's Tulsi Gabbard. They'll start picking on her now. So instead of the media picking apart Trump, since Trump is elected, president-elect, they'll pick on his cabinet and try to destroy them one by one before the Senate has a chance to confirm them. The media, here's the New York Times listing all the positions that need to be filled that don't require senatorial confirmation. And this is a chart of a couple of days ago, because the Department of National Security, the National Security Advisor, well, there's no picture of that person. Yep, this is fully populated. And these are the people that need senatorial confirmation. 2, 4, 6, 7, 21, 4 times 7 is 28. So there are 28 positions that need. So there's the OMB director, agriculture, small business. These other 4 positions, I think, have been filled. And I can't tell you from memory who they are. Or maybe they're not picked yet. I'll have to go to that link and see what's up. See, here's Matthew Whitaker. He's announced to be the guy in charge of NATO. There's a guy, housing, education. Well, every one of these requires confirmation. And you can see the guy right here. He's 4th in line to the presidency. So that's why his picture is right there. And I think the Attorney General is next, and then the defense is next. I think you can go right down this list in order. And those are the people that are in line for the presidency. If people are dying off, from viruses or gunshots or bombs. If heaven forbid we enter that kind of a situation. And to know that if there's like a joint session of Congress, one of these people has to be somewhere else. They can't all be in the room at the same time. And I forget how they picked that person. But it's pretty much one of these people on the top line here. And you can include the vice president. Of course, you can't have them all in the same place at the same time. You can't have them all in the same airplane, There are rules about all that. Yeah, so there's the Trump administration take shape. That's what this is. And this is a, I have to trim this one because you can see part of the wall, some of the stuff underneath here. Our giant 85-inch television. All right, folks. We are DUN. And I hope you have a nice Tuesday. And we'll get back to you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to turn the music up and turn me off. And we'll see you tomorrow. It's 10:44 a.m. Bye-bye.